Welcome to the Chic Show. Chic, cheap, repeat. Project number 1 is a finial inspired by this one that I saw on Birch Lane website. I got it at a thrift store for $1. I'm sure this was just off a fence post of some sort, but I did clean it up just a little bit, and then I mixed some white wax and white paint to make it a little bit more white so that I could give it kind of a whitewash. I used a paper towel to wipe on the wax mixture. Now I'm using a wet wipe to wipe back the mixture. Pretty simple and easy, and looks very much like our inspiration piece. Project number 2 is a king cake and coffee sign. I found this sign at a local thrift store for 99 cents. It was originally from World Market. I'm using a sponge brush to give it a coat of Waverly Black Ink chalk paint. It only took one coat of the ink chalk paint to cover. Because I'm going to distress this piece, I'm going to take it outside and give it a coat of clear acrylic sealer. Now I'm using my candle wax to go around all the edges of the sign. This will help me to distress the piece once the paint is dry. Now I'm going to add one coat of white Waverly chalk paint. Once the white paint is completely dry, I'm going to sand around the edges to give it that distressed look. Using the candle wax helps keep the paint from adhering to those spots. I did sand down the top just a little bit, but I didn't want too much of the white paint to disappear because we are going to put a graphic on here. It's Mardi Gras season for us here in Louisiana, so there's nothing better than king cake at this time of year. So I'm making a sign that says king cake and coffee served fresh daily. I printed this out on my LaserJet printer, and I've reversed the image so that it's mirrored. I'm also cutting away most of the excess paper. Once I've chosen my placement, I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to put Mod Podge on the graphic and then place it down onto the sign and let it sit overnight. The graphic does need to be completely covered with Mod Podge. I'm going to smooth out any wrinkles and get rid of any excess Mod Podge there, and then just let it sit overnight. The next day I'm going to take a wet paper towel and I'm just going to wet the graphic until I can see those letters come through the paper. Now I'm going to wet my fingers and start rubbing my fingers along the paper, and the paper should come off and the graphic should be left behind. As I said, I did use a laser printer for this, and if you have an inkjet, you can still do this, but after you print your image, you need to seal it with some hairspray. Once I've rubbed away most of the paper, I'm going to use Mod Podge and cover the top. This is a great little addition to my coffee bar, and king cake season is the best season. Today's video is part of a monthly playlist called Third Thursday Thrift Flips, hosted by Elizabeth, Tammy, and this month's guest host is Zeta. I have their channels and the playlist listed in the description box below. Also, you can find me on Instagram at The Chic Show DIY, and I hope that you'll consider subscribing and giving this video a thumbs up. Project number 3 is a sugar mold. I'm not positive that this was an original sugar mold, but I did find it at the thrift store for $2, and I decided to take it outside and see if I could sand off that stain, and it did sand down beautifully. I love the color of the wood, but I decided to give it a light staining, so I used some Waverly Antique Wax mixed with some water, and I wiped it on and then wiped it back. I did not want it as dark as it was to begin with, so I panicked just a little bit here, so I went ahead and wiped it back real quick to see what I was going to get. This was exactly what I was looking for, so crisis averted. I went ahead and did this all the way around and on the top of the sugar mold. Once the stain had dried, I took some of this home decor wax and sealed it. There are so many ways that you can style this, and I'm going to show you a few of them right now. First, I added in some Spanish moss in each of the holes, and then I added some succulents. This is a great little spring look, but would also be good year-round. This look will be easy to transition over to Easter as well. And here's an option for Christmas, and imagine how cute it would be with pine cones for Thanksgiving. Project number 4 is a decor board that I got at a thrift store for $2.99. It had this kind of laminate look on the front, and I didn't really want to sand that down, so I did use the back and took it outside and sanded it a bit. Now for the front, I'm going to be using some drop cloth, so I'm measuring here, so you guys should be proud of me that I'm measuring something because I normally do not. So I'm looking at about 6 by 6 approximately for my drop cloth. I'm going to cut a little notch on each side, and then I'm going to rip it so that the edges will be frayed. And once I had the size I wanted, I did use my iron and ironed out all the wrinkles. Now I'm using these stamps that I got from Temu, and you actually have to cut them apart. So once I have them like I want them, I'm using this clear block that rocks back and forth. This is going to say Logan County Produce. Logan County is where I grew up in Arkansas. So this is just a little nod to my hometown. These next stamps that I'm using are very strange. There's 3 different styles of each letter, but they're all connected. So again, you have to cut them apart, and it makes it very difficult to put them together. But I did eventually get them in the right order. And for this last stamp, I'm just using one from Dollar Tree. I got these thumbtacks at Dollar Tree, and this wood is very hard, so I did have to start the hole with a hammer and nail, and then I used the hammer to hammer these tacks down in there. I decided to go ahead and use the drop cloth as like a pocket, so I'm using these herbs from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to take them apart so that they'll fit a little bit better. I'm also going to reuse that raffia and tie it around the handle. This next part is the trim from the drop cloth. Don't ever throw this part away, you can always find a use for it. The trim was a little too thick to tie, so I used some twine and just wrapped it around the top to secure it. To add a little color, I also added in these Dollar Tree carrots. Let me know what you think about this thrift flip in the comments below. I appreciate you watching today, and I hope that you'll remember to check out the host channels in the description box below, along with the playlist. Remember to share the chic. Bye now.